most kids gonna get on punishment. They, your parents take your video games. You can't go outside. Da 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 da. My mom took my music. I used to the 70 sheet notebooks. I would take that 70 sheet notebook and I would write stories in it.
I know that's why this was birthed, for you to be able to sow seeds into other creatives, young creatives, people that are new in it, or people that are even frustrated in their journey. So what has been like one of your challenges navigating through the creative space?
Back then, my biggest challenge was
truth in the air, let it speak.
Listen, welcome to Creative Roots Podcast. This here is episode 1, where you meet the hosts, the hostesses, the co-hostess.
With the mostesses?
Yes, because that's who we are right now. The most back pain, the most headache, just got done getting fussed at, but we here. So,
and I literally have back pain right now.
Yeah, and I got a headache because I'm the one that got fussed at. Listen, I'm Tay. You will probably never hear me say that again because after this episode, you should know. But I'm Tay.
Oh, wow. Hey, I'm smart. I'm going to say my name every time until I don't have to introduce myself. No more.
So, Creative Roots Podcast. This podcast is for, I don't want to say all creatives, but this podcast is for anybody. How do I want to word that?
I don't know. I don't know where we're going.
I don't know where we're going either. Highly unscripted.
Highly.
This podcast is focused on creatives, all creatives, but this podcast is also for non-creatives alike. What I mean by that is the majority of the people that you will see are in the creative space, regardless if it's music, photography, videography, tattooing, creating sets, being creative with brand strategy, video style, videos. That was
actors as well. I'm
that
just
was a
gonna
lot.
keep you going.
Yeah, actors, DJs. We have a plethora of people that will be on this podcast. So, quick shoot. If you're creative and you would like to be on this podcast, send me a DM, creativeroots.podcast on IG and TikTok. Find us on Facebook, Creative Roots Podcast. You can find me personally, Tay with the edits on all social media platforms. And you can find Shamar at...
I'm not plugging myself right now. I want to tell these people what we're doing. I want to get back to the podcast.
Okay, well, go ahead. We in the podcast.
So you said, but one thing you said that I thought about, I was like creatives and non-creatives. So I guess what defines a creative to you, because to say non-creative, because I think everyone's creative. Everyone has creativity, if you will. Some people explore and pursue more of their creativity, and they actually use that to make a living, and other people do not. So is that what the non-creative is? They don't want to tap into their creativity?
I would put it this way. Like you said, there are people that get paid for this, right? So you have the creatives in the business that do business, people that get paid for what they do. We get paid for photography, videography.
Ain't nobody paid you to do no photography. No, I'm joking.
And I'm over here really like, they haven't. No, they haven't.
Because he love to say he not a photographer.
Because listen, Tay don't do pictures. Call me, but Tay don't do pictures. But yeah, so it's the non-creative. I guess I need to figure out how to reword that. So when I say non-creatives, I'm mainly talking about those that don't tap in to their creative side and use that even as a side hustle to make money.
Okay.
So
now, what about the starving artists? The ones that, die broke and then they go famous after. What is it? Post. I ain't going to try to mess that word up. It started with an H. Post.
Haste?
No. See, you about to get me to stubble over words and stuff. I'm not going to be stuttering on this podcast.
Not today.
So, not today. So, after death, they become, hugely famous and their work gets worth so much money. I guess I'm just trying to point home that this is, is for creatives and those alike, if you will, like-minded people that want to hear about the creative journey and stuff like that. And like Tay said, people that are actually in the business, in the industry, and creating. If you create something, you can be on here.
And then to your point of the starving artist, you're still creating.
Yes.
You can still make that phone call, or don't call me. Just send me a message. Don't call my phone.
His number is.
Listen, so we just want to introduce this podcast properly by letting y'all know who we are. Again, I'm Tay. I am a videographer. Shamar's pushing me back into photography. Yeah. I am a video editor. I am the studio manager at Charlotte Podcast Studio. What else do I do? I make skits. I tell stories. I am a storyteller. A lot of the things that you see me do will become a story at some point. I do social media strategy, growth, branding stuff.
That's a beautiful title.
Very. I am a digital media specialist. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
I think that sums up everything. What that basically means is I don't just record your video. I can also help you get it in front of the people that it needs to be in front of. Oh, I thought you was making a face at me. I help you build your social media strategy. Yeah, because I'm used to you saying something but making a face. I also help you with finding your target audience, finding the best place for you to put your posts, your Instagram or TikTok. One may not work best for what you do, but we sit down, we have a conversation, we go over that. So again, I don't just record the video for you. I can help you optimize it as much as I possibly can.
All right, now that Tay has given you all his official commercial, make sure you hit him up for his services. But Tay, more importantly, I want to know, how did you get into this?
Into the creative roots or into this field? I got to ask so I know how far back to go. We can go all the way back to the 1900s.
The 1900s is insane.
Crazy.
Yes, let's go back to the 1900s. I want to understand how you got into the creative space. You're a creative. You already listed all the things that you do.
Very much so.
So how did you get into the creative space?
I got here.
And he did not list all the things he does, by the way, y'all. But go ahead.
I did I?
No.
I got here. My earliest memory, crazy fun fact I don't think I ever told you. The very first song I ever remember hearing and quote unquote rapping with my Ninja Turtles and He-Man action figures, they're not dolls, was F the Police by NWA.
Okay, yeah.
Crazy. That's the first initial thing that I heard as far as music. From there, I just loved instrumentals. I loved the pre-sample instrumentals from different artists. My uncle might not tell you, but he used to rap. Mm-hmm. And I would go to his shows and I would be there. My uncle was a big music head. So was my pops. So anytime I was with them, there was always music being played. There was something about the rhythm of a drum and that 808 and that kick with that snare and that hi-hat that just put me in a completely different space. It was at the point where most kids gonna get on punishment. Your parents take your video games, you can't go outside, Mm-hmm. My mom took my music.
Gotcha.
And because my mom knew if there was no music for me, life was just horrible. I didn't care to go outside. I mean, I was outside, but no. So I got here mainly based on that. I was just into music.
So how did music make you feel? What did it do to you?
Again, I'm a storyteller. So I was able to visualize these stories.
Okay.
Music put me in a place where I don't have to worry about the woes of life. Even as a, elementary school teenager, there were things that I just didn't have to worry about.
So it was your escape.
Music was definitely my escape.
Okay.
I definitely got away.
Yeah.
But you got to come back to reality. And I think I wrote my first song middle school.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Like, what happened? You found the love of music. That's crazy. Your first rap song was "F the Police." I love that though. But okay,
Yeah.
so after you fell in love with music, hip hop, all this stuff, how did it transition to you writing and performing? Take us there.
So I used to be with my uncle when he would be with his group and they would rap. They would write. And subconsciously, it was just like, oh, I can do that. My uncle's doing it. I can do it. Let me see what I can do. I was a big Bone Thugs and Harmony fan. So me writing lyrics literally started from trying to write what they were saying, cassette tape.
Yeah.
Song comes on, Power 98, you go in the room and press record, and the play button is like, dang, I hope I'm not recording over, whatever. And this is with their East 1999 Eternal album. First of the month. And then after that, they would play, I think it was Thug Love they used to play on the radio. And at that point, I didn't have the money to go get it. So I would be the one, I would just record it and I would write what they said. And it's like, oh, if I can write what they're saying, why can I not come up with my own words and put that down on paper? And then from there, you just hear an instrumental, you just write.
So you was in that writing, boom, 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 boom,
boom, boom, boom, boom. Yes.
All right. So
yes.
Your first rap. Now, was this an ABC 1, 2, 3, or was it actually something?
It was something.
It was something, all right.
It was like, yo, my name is Tay. I like fruit. I ain't gay. It wasn't nothing crazy like that. But it was like, it came with me writing other people's lives.
Okay.
And, oh, that's something else I forgot. I used the 70 sheet notebooks. I would take that 70 sheet notebook and I would write stories in it. So going back, I was, again, initially a storyteller. And pushing forward, I just translated that into more of a poetic form.
Okay.
When I was in high school, I'm jumping ahead while I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
When I was in high school, I got in trouble. I got sent to alternative school. Yes. Yeah. Basically what that means is I got expelled.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And I ended up having to go to alternative school. And there was, I can't remember what it was, but I ended up being in a class where we did poetry. Different type of English class.
Okay.
So when I came back to regular high school, that was the only class.
Oh, they let you back in?
Yeah, they let me back in.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I was only out temporarily. So they let me back in, and they were like, we don't have a class that lines up with this, so we're going to have to put you over here. As easy as that class was, I don't remember getting a high grade because I just wasn't in it. And at that point, I just walked around high school. There was the only thing that was in my book bag was a 3-ring binder, a notebook, a pen, and some floppy disks.
Oh, some of these people don't even know what that is.
Right.
Okay.
And I was, I worked in the library. I can't remember what that class is called, but I was in the library. So when we got done putting the books and things up, making sure that the printer had paper, I would go to the computer, throw my floppy disk in. All the poems that I've written, I would type them up, print them out, and I would put them in my 3-ring notebook. It got to the point where in that class, we started doing poems. This is easy. This is mad easy.
Right.
I'm just gonna take this one out. I remember when the teacher announced that the next thing we're doing is gonna be poetry and stories. And everybody that knew me in the class just turned around and was like, oh, like it was a competition.
Yeah.
It wasn't. They just turned and was like, yo, after class, they would come up and be like, hey man, let me get like 3 of them poems.
You were selling your poems.
Now that I think about it, I should have.
You should have.
I should have been selling them. Some of the people I told, no. I would write stories and I'm thinking how I want to put this. Some of the stories that I wrote, my mom would never see.
Oh.
I would write stories, females would read them. By the time I got it back, my poem didn't look the same.
What you mean?
Meaning, like, you know how when you have, let me put it this way. Those romance novels, that's how some of my stories were.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave that alone. I don't think I need to go any further. Okay. I'm in high school. I'm doing whatever.
Right.
But to go back, that's basically where it started. I just started writing what do you call it? The Power Rangers episodes. My 70 sheet notebook.
Okay.
I started rewriting the Power Ranger episodes.
You was writing what they were saying?
Like the whole show. So to give a little bit of context, my grandma was my bus driver.
Yes.
So I'm on the bus as early as 5:30 as she's picking up all the kids.
Yes.
We get to school at 8, which means it's the reverse getting off. We get out of school 2:15, 2:30. I'm on the school bus until 6. My homework is already done. And I would just be on the bus rewriting what happened in that episode and what I would change, what I would have done.
Okay.
Changing up the dialogue.
You just memorized the episode?
Yeah.
Because I know y'all ain't had no tablets when you was on the school bus. Y'all ain't had no iPhones, no Androids, nothing. So you memorized the episodes.
DVR.
Nope.
No DVR.
That Blu-ray and all that came later.
Way later.
Because we was VHS back then.
Yes.
But you literally needed to be at home watching it.
Yeah.
On the TV as it aired. So you could memorize what happened and you sit on the bus and you're rewriting it to fit your needs.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's up.
And I read, I think I read at that time almost every Goosebump book.
Okay. I don't know why that phone is connected to that computer.
That's crazy because you don't see it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. If y'all can hear that, don't worry about that.
So I think you might be touching on, because when we started this episode, you listed out all the, videography, video editing, all of this stuff. And then you jumped into my life story as I'm a musician. But now you're telling me that you rewrote Power Rangers episodes. Is that how you... I'm sorry.
Yes.
I wasn't expecting to hear that. Is that how you got your music thing here, but now was that like the first thing of, I'm good at this. I did that episode better than they did. Is that how you kind of transitioned into video and stuff? Well, how did that happen?
Into video? It was one statement that was repeated. We need somebody to record this.
Oh, okay.
So my brothers, the Justice League, JUSTHIS League, right? We would do shows. We would do ministry. We would be in different places doing different things. And the common statement was, we need to get somebody to get a camera. Somebody need to get a camera. Somebody need to learn how to use the camera. Somebody needs to start recording what we do.
Okay.
Because before that, there were really no homemade videos, with the VHS, the camcorders and stuff. We didn't really use those. And I said, well, I'm going to start doing my own music videos. I don't know how that was going to happen. How you going to be in front of the camera and behind the camera at the same time? I don't know. But
shoot, you was rewriting Power Rangers episodes, so you could definitely do it.
Probably could have, which reminds me too, selling my poems in high school. No, but I sold, wu-tang and Chicago Bulls logos in elementary.
Oh, you draw as well?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I did say everything, huh?
No,
I do a lot.
You didn't. Yeah.
That was my first touch into graphic design, by hand.
Okay.
I had my own I don't want to call it
Whoa.
calligraphy.
Whoa.
Yeah, my own
What is that?
scribble scrabble, my own font.
Oh, okay.
Nobody could read it but me until I had to break it down. You know, it wasn't like it was Chinese, but to other people, it was like, But so getting into video, yes, that's where it started. One question, one statement. We need somebody to record this. I said, all right, well, fine. I'm going to go get me a camera. I thought I was going to be doing photography because I also have a record label.
Okay.
So my record label was a one-stop shop. We do photography, videography, graphic design, website, what do you call that? We help you with your website.
Development?
I did all of that by myself.
Okay.
Now I ain't gonna say everything that I did was the greatest, but it was enough.
We all started somewhere. Yeah.
It was enough. And video just sat with me because I spent like a whole year, my Canon T3i like this, watching YouTube. I was one of them.
One of those.
I was one of them.
Absolutely.
They talk about all the settings. I'll be like, and then knowing my room is not the best place, click, it don't look like that.
Right. Why mine don't look
Why
like that?
mine don't look like that? And it got to a point I said, you know what? This camera, the Canon 70D, that camera's made more for video. I don't want a hybrid anymore. I want to go get that. Did a eBay. I told my wife, I said, hey, this on sale. She said, go ahead, you ain't gonna win it anyway. I got that camera.
Yep.
I beat the guy by something crazy like 10 cents. Canon 70D. He may have used it, I think he said in the post 2-3 times. I got that camera and I did like most people. Ain't nobody hiring me. Ain't nobody letting me shoot. And it's like, what are you presenting?
Right.
For them to know that you can. One of my brothers, he said, we got our listening party. Shoot that. See how you do. I shot that listening party. He said he watched that video 5 times before he responded. I was just like, hey, man, I did what I knew I could. This is back with when there was Adobe Creative Suite, not Adobe Creative Cloud. So they'll let you know how old systems were. And after that first video, I was hooked. I think at that time, I helped shoot 1 or 2 music videos, but I didn't edit. My cousin did her senior exit project. I shot and edited that, but that was a completely different thing.
Okay.
So when we got to this listening party and it was put out, that changed everything. Everybody's like, yo, who did this? Who did that? And I just sat and honed in on all of it. So
here's what I'm hearing. So, you started at the top of the episode saying that you're a storyteller. And what I'm hearing is that you have used different mediums to tell a story.
Yeah.
With music, that's telling a story. You rewriting the Power Rangers history is telling a new story.
Very much so. Very much so.
You get into your group, your hip hop group, and, they want everything that y'all are doing to be captured. And now you pick up a camera to tell that story.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
So before that,
I had a question.
Oh, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm running this. So my question is, what, if any, if you had to choose, you're going to have to choose. What is your favorite medium? Which one do you like the most to be able to tell their story? Oh, yes. You can rank if you want to, but you got to pick.
I'm going to say that's difficult.
Oh, yes.
The reason it's difficult is because I use all of them.
Tell us about that. See, you go in the right direction. Come on, man. I am teeing you up, Tay.
Listen. So when I shoot,
yes,
I shoot with edit in mind. When I edit, I am picking the best music that's going to tell the story and give you a sense of what it was like at that event.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to explain without saying anything the feeling, or as people call it, the vibe of the space or the event or whatever I'm doing. The coloring.
Here you go.
If I sit and really focus on the coloring, that's going to help tell a mood within the storytelling. So if
Don't forget one part. Go ahead, keep going. I hope you're going to introduce that other one. Go ahead.
what's the other one?
There's one other element. It's the lyrics, if you will. Because when we do events and people are mic'd up, you take what they say and you apply it accordingly.
Yeah.
So
what you said.
Yeah. I mean, so you the answer, I teed him up, people. Like, I knew where he was going with it. So the whole thing is, if you have to say an answer, it has to be the video editing piece, because you're able to use every single element, every single medium that you know to tell that story in that one video.
Yeah. So editing would probably be my number one, because it doesn't matter if I shot it or if somebody else shot it. I know with what I was given, I have to be able to tell this story.
Yeah.
And I have to be able to edit it accordingly. Second would be the videography piece, because I like movies. I like film. I went to Full Sail. Even though I went to Full Sail for audio engineering, part of what we had to do as a collective was to go into the history of audio and film and cameras, and how all these things are individual but play a part together. So video would be next. And then after that, that's when I would focus on music and dialogue.
Okay.
So
yeah. What has been like one of your challenges navigating through the creative space, whether it was back then or even now as you're operating business and stuff? Actually, both. Let's go both.
Back then, my biggest challenge was finding things to shoot or edit that matched me.
Okay.
Because it's like everybody doesn't shoot the same. Everybody doesn't have the same creative path. For instance, when I started, I didn't know what lane I wanted to be in. I just knew I wanted to do it. So the challenge was figuring out what I was going to do. And I've always been that storyteller, but for whatever reason, it's like I gave myself a mental block to where there's no such thing as writing a short film, because I don't have the proper equipment. When it comes to business, the biggest challenge with doing it for as a business is clear direction. When there's not a clear direction of what the client wants, that's a challenge even in that, because sometimes they can't tell you what they want.
Right.
You have to tell them
absolutely
what they want, and you really have to pay attention. That's another challenge, because everybody doesn't speak the same language. I'll call it horizontal. You'll call it landscape.
Yes.
I'll say vertical and you'll call it portrait. So even with that, it's understanding the language of what it is, what it should be, how it should be worded, and understanding the alternative terms that other people are going to call it.
So how do you work around it?
You just ask more probing questions, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So if I say, so what I have to word, okay, so what do you want specifically for Instagram and TikTok? And what do you want for your website and YouTube? And when I get that, it's like, okay, well, I know in the midst of this whole video, I'm going to have to shoot a little wider horizontally in order to capture more than enough. So when I do cut down for this short form reel, it makes sense. And it's
which is vertical.
That way it's not so compressed.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So that's how I have to go through that.
Cool. Yo, you did amazing with that logo, Creative Roots podcast. That thing dope. Yeah.
Shout out to Cut, because Cut helped me with that.
What up, Cut? Shout out to you.
Yeah.
So I know you're gonna throw this up on the screen so these people can see it. Now, let's talk about that. What I see from that is, the name itself, Creative Roots. The roots are what establishes you, what grounds you, and to be able to get those roots and then have them grow and be deep. Because the deeper the roots, you know what I'm saying, the more structure foundation you have to be able to produce. So what was planted and how was that plant or that seed nurtured in you for you be able to get to the point that you are now?
That just people telling me to stop doubting myself.
Okay.
You got the music from my uncle.
That was the seed.
That was the seed from music.
Yeah.
Him and my dad. Then you have drawing, and if I remember correctly, it's like poetry from my pops. And then when it comes to holding a camera, that was just something that was birthed out of a need that was not there for the collective. I feel like I'm forgetting something with this answer.
No. So the nurturing part was the pouring into you. You said people telling you to stop doubting yourself. So what kind of support? What was that support? What did it look like as you would continue to navigate this? Because you was trash when you first picked up that camera. I ain't gonna hold you.
Oh, I was garbage.
I wasn't there, people, but I know because I was too. But
it was garbage. Everything was white. Couldn't figure it out. There's no way somebody my skin complexion
right.
like my shirt. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I mean, maybe you're standing in the sun. Sir, we're inside. I mean, I don't know. And then people disappear like the wall because I didn't know. So yes, it was a point of, bro, what are you doing?
Yep.
So you have people like my mom, super supportive. When I first started music, she's like, can you take the cuss words out? And I'm like, Mama, you're not even supposed to be listening to that version anyway.
Hold on, you was cussing in hip hop, gospel, what?
So that was the gap that I was gonna fill in. And you was like, I had a question. So the record label started out as a distribution team.
Okay.
And the name was called 6 Unit Distribution because there were already 5 major distribution companies at that time. So we were going to be the 6th company that was going to start distributing for local artists. Well, from that, we also were artists and put together albums to say, hey, here's our analytics before there was a such thing as analytics to us.
Yeah.
And we put out 2, 3, 4 albums. We're not gonna go into any of them albums.
So that was secular music.
Very secular.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah, like very in the street music. It was very
just to connect the dots with some of the viewers that may not know you. I know Tay thinks everybody knows him, but for those that don't, you said I do music and then we were ministering and stuff, but I don't know if everybody connected the dots that your music is. What music do you all do now?
Now we do Christian hip hop.
They do Christian hip hop. So that's why I'm like secular. Well, first off, when he said cussing in there, boy, what you mean cussing in Christian hip hop?
Love Jesus, mother. No, we wasn't doing that. We wasn't doing that. No.
F the devil.
Right. Stepping on that head, bro.
Well, hey, listen, that was your first rap song, F the police, so F the devil. I can see you right.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean? No, I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to do that. That would have been, ooh.
Like, get out.
I ain't going to lie. My first show. So another thing people don't know, when I started doing Christian hip hop, I was the only Christian hip hop artist in the secular club.
Okay.
Coming from where I come from, I'm expecting a little bit of support. And it's like, yo, I see y'all sitting there and ain't nobody, giving me, no kind of attention. Like, y'all gonna hear about Jesus today. I don't care what y'all say. If you got a problem with it, catch me outside.
So they had the bar order and the sex on the beach, and you up there saying, big up in Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember one of my first
What
shows.
kind of reactions did you get?
I wasn't getting any reaction.
Oh, okay.
And that at that time was an issue for me because
Well, they were trying to be respectful. They ain't tell you to, shut up and get off the stage so we can drink.
Nah, that was maybe the third show where like three
Oh.
guys walked out, and I said, if I listen to y'all talk about shaking booty, you can't listen to me talk about Jesus. That's fine, because I'm gonna do this anyway. Again, this is where I come from. So I remember the same show where there was like nobody standing.
Mhm.
I'm giving all this energy. My set is well put together compared to everybody else, and those are not my words. Those are things that were told to me from the DJ, the bartender, and the guy at the door. Other people, like, out of everybody that's been here, you're the only one that has their stuff together.
Mhm.
Okay. But that same show, I went outside, doing my prayer stuff, like, thank you, Jesus, for this opportunity. I hope people receive. A guy walks out, he said, hey man, I want to holler at you. All right, I'm ready to fight because I know what I said. I'm ready to throw hands because I'm still a baby in Christ.
Mhm.
And he said, man, I just want to let you know that I heard everything you said. He said, your whole set. He said, man, I ordered me something to drink. He said, man, I can't even drink it because the ice melted. He said, I had a cigarette lit. That cigarette burned itself out. So I just wanted to say I appreciate you doing what you did in a space that you're doing it in, because I know a lot of people are not that bold about their faith.
Mhm.
And after that, I said, you know what? He's right. There's no reason for me to sit here and be like, y'all ain't giving me, no props. Y'all ain't giving me the claps and this, that, and the third. Pause. The claps? Y'all are not applauding. Y'all are not giving me any recognition. And I have this whole set. And when I had these shows, whoever went on after me, the sound wasn't working. They forgot their lyrics.
Mhm.
I had one guy after one show, he said, man, I told him, I said, I ain't doing it. He said, man, you really said some stuff on that stage and I cannot perform my set after what you just did. I'm going home. He told me he drove like an hour and a half, 2 hours to do that. And he said, I'm not doing it. So that door be creaking. But yeah, so my support team.
Oh, he didn't forget.
I
Okay,
didn't.
cool. Go ahead.
I mean, because all of that comes from the confidence to do what I did.
Yeah.
My brothers, the team, they were there, and well, they weren't there at that show, but it was like, yo, you got something, use it. Yo, just do it.
Mhm.
My mom is like, take the cussing out. Well, I take the cussing all the way out. We talking about something completely different.
Right.
My uncle, he's just, the same thing. That thing came from way down in the jungle deep. God, dog. At least it came out the top end.
Thank you.
Thank you. The family member that I told you that's in the industry, he told me that, he said, man, stop cussing. You don't have to talk about those things in order to, do your music.
Mhm.
So those people really the ones that made a big difference with everything that I started doing concerning music. And that was really my support team. Like of course, my mama's is always that's my baby,
That's right.
promoting the things that you do,
Mhm.
telling other people about the things that you do. And that's kind of how, that was really just my support system right there.
Okay.
So
Now I know that, going with your analogy, with the whole creative roots, the tree, planting the seed, watering it, nurturing it so that it grows, that tree begins to bear fruit. And then within that fruit, what happens is that you have seeds within that which go back into the ground, and those need to be nurtured, and watered so that they can grow as well. To that point, I know that that's why this was birthed, for you to be able to sow seeds into other creatives, young creatives, people that are new in it, or people that are even frustrated in their journey, right? So that's why this whole space was created, and that's why you're going to be bringing on other creatives in here to talk about their journey and their story and everything. But specifically, so the whole platform, we get it. That's what you're doing. But specifically for you or anybody that resonated with you, what would you give them as they seek to continue their journey or start their journey?
Know you.
Mm.
Because if you don't know you, nobody else is going to care.
Okay, they don't know themselves. How do they find that?
You got to do a real self-examination.
Mm-hmm. And be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm going to let you answer your question. My bad.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, I have all these titles.
Mm-hmm.
I do all these things. At the end of the day, I'm a storyteller.
Yes.
That sums up everything. I'm a storyteller and I am a people person. And I know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Find your lane. Don't start out doing everything. Start out doing one thing. What is that one thing? This is how I'll put it. If there was one thing that you could do, and you would do it regardless if you got paid for it or not, because you love doing that one thing, what would it be? Don't jump and answer that unless you literally know it. But when you answer it, that's what your passion is. My passion is telling a story.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that about myself. I know I love telling stories. I sit, like the skits that we do, the vlogging that I do. There's a story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if I can't tell a story, if I'm like being told to just do this, I'm going to say, okay, my end question is, what's the purpose of this?
Mm-hmm.
And what do I expect people to get out of it? Because I know me, I can't just put something out, right? So know you, know who you are, know what you like to do, not what you're trying to do to make money. Know who you are and what you love to do. I'm changing it from like to love, because if you don't love doing it, it's not a passion. It's lust. You're just lusting after what can come from it. You have to know yourself before you can get other people to know who you are. It's okay to start out and say, I really don't know. Let's do these different types of videos, get these things out. These types of pictures, or this picture, whatever it is that you think you have a passion for, whatever it is that you think you want to do, you have to know who you are in that space.
Yeah.
And I like stories. I like movies. I like short film. I like talking to people. I like knowing where people come from. I like knowing what people have done and dealt with. And without that story, how much do you really know somebody? It doesn't matter who they are.
Right.
Everybody knows who Jordan is because you have a story.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows who LeBron is because you have a story. You know people like Jeff Bezos. You know Elon Musk. But at the end of the day, what about that one person that stays next door? They do whatever it is they do. You don't know who they are. You don't know their story. And a lot of people are quick to judge without that story.
So listen, I hear they need to know themselves and know what they love to do and what they would do regardless. What's that one thing you would tell them just to help motivate them? Now that they figured out who they are and what they want to do, what's that one thing you're going to tell them to motivate them to get going?
That one motivational piece.
Yeah.
After you find yourself.
Yes, sir.
The only reason you need to put your head down is if you're looking for change. Literally like quarters, nickels, dimes.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, keep your head high. That way you know where you're going. If you see where you're going and you see the direction you're pushing to go in, make sure you understand what your end goal is and take those baby steps to get to that. You can't be a millionaire overnight. Most people can't. So take your time. Don't take too much time, but take your time. If you want to be a photographer, go take pictures. Don't wait for somebody to call you to say, hey, can you take my pictures? If you're a videographer, don't wait for somebody to say, hey, can you shoot my videos? Go shoot videos. That's one reason why I started my YouTube channel back in 2016. That way I could hone in on videography, composition, understanding the different aspects of lighting and editing. If you are an artist with that paintbrush, go buy some canvases. Is that not what they call?
Yes.
Hobby Lobby got them. Walmart. You know, if you want to be a graphic designer, focus on that. You have to know, once you know who you are, just start.
Yeah.
And keep your mindset on the end goal. I think that sums up everything.
Good stuff. Listen, y'all, we came in here and the plan was to introduce ourselves in this first episode, but we clearly have to have a part 2 where Tay interviews me, because one episode is not enough time when it comes to a creative, because we got deep roots over here. You know what I'm saying?
Very.
And we have to be able to have that time to get it out. So, that's why I kind of switched it up, and I'm glad you went with it. It was a great story. Great start and kickoff to this whole thing too. I'm going to tell you guys that, again, we're going to come back to part 2. Tay's going to chat with me. But the things that I know you can expect is, especially these episodes that will be rolling out, Tay's going to focus on interviewing the talent, the creatives, getting their story. He's a storyteller. He's going to help them be able to tell their story to you. Me, which you will learn a little bit more about me, you'll get some more individual videos where I'm just sitting here talking to you as the audience, about this whole industry, about this whole space, and how to help monetize off of it and stuff. So even though I'm not going to be in some of them episodes, I feel like I'm going to be in those, but I'm going to have a couple of one-on-ones too. All right, I'm going to kick it off to you to let you close us out, man.
Thank you for tuning in to Creative Roots Podcast. My name is Tay. The second time I done told y'all my name. After this episode, I probably won't tell you that again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in too, because I forgot about some of that stuff.
Yeah.
It was good to
revisit.
Yeah. And I feel like I'm going to have to do a part 2 for myself to go a little bit deeper. Mm-hmm. But for now, I want to focus on y'all and getting to sit down with some of y'all, all of y'all. I don't care. Listen, we're going to be here. Don't call me, because I keep on wanting to say call me. Don't call me. No, I can't even say text me. Send me a message. Leave a comment down below if you are a creative that wants to be in this space. It doesn't matter if you're just starting or if you've been doing this for some time, because I think I've been doing this 15 plus. A decade and a half, y'all. So listen, again, thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of, well, this is the first. So thank y'all for tuning in to Creative Roots Podcast.
Yes, sir.
And I think that's it, man. We out. Peace. Hey, real quick, just wanted to say thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Creative Roots Podcast. If you are a creative and you're interested in being a guest on this podcast, feel free to send a DM on Instagram or TikTok, and you can find us at creativeroots.podcast on both, Creative Roots Podcast on Facebook, and we look forward to talking to you soon.